found us. It's LHS Live. I'm Joe Roberts, and I'm here with Daxton Frazier every Wednesday at 10:20-ish. Specifically, special guest, Liberty County Sheriff Bobby Rader. But before we get to the main man, Daxton, take it away.
Yes, sir. All right. So Friday we have East Chambers at East Chambers, so we're gonna be messing them up. I already know it. And then that same Friday, registration for the PSAT and SATs ends, so make sure you do that before Friday. And then HOCO shirts are on sale, so see Mr. Ewing about that. And that's it.
Hey, that was your best announcement voice that you've had in the 4 weeks that we've done this.
Yeah.
It's only took you a month to find that.
No, he had security today.
He had to bring the entire sheriff's department here to make that happen. Okay, so we found your foibles, fear. That's how we get it going. All right, well, here we are. We're at Liberty High School, and we've got the main man, Sheriff Bobby Rader. You are no stranger to Liberty County. You have held many different hats. When I got here 15 years ago, you were a justice of peace.
That's correct.
And a darn fine one, from my understanding.
I enjoyed it. It was a good job. I did it for 14 years.
Yeah, I think I probably got you right in the middle of that piece. Your wife used to teach art here at Liberty High School.
That's correct.
And I guess she put up with you enough to keep sending you out in public, right?
I will say this, if we make it through till October
The 12th, I believe exact date, would be married 50 years.
Wow.
Man, I can't even count that high.
You're not even that old.
I'm not. I wasn't even, I was still a baby in heaven, looking down.
There you
singing
go.
the praises. That's awesome, 50 years. And well, I guess I was going to ask some other questions, but I'll just kind of segue into that. You are the sheriff of Liberty County, and you've been the sheriff for how many years now?
This is my 12th year.
12. I'm almost not even that old. So 12 years. How do you make 50 years of marriage with that kind of stress and strain? Because I can't imagine it's all cotton candy and roses after a day on the job as the sheriff.
So we're talking about my wife putting up with me?
Yeah,
Is that what we're talking
absolutely,
about?
absolutely.
Well, she's gonna have wings and a halo, I will tell you. It's, because you're right, you do bring your troubles home, but you bring your good things home, and it's good. We have 3 children, we've got 9
grandchildren, so we can kind of sidetrack and keep her occupied with the other things, and, you know, as long as she lets me in the house, it's okay.
All right, well, if not, I'm sure there's a cell available for you to
Okay.
go and
No, not right now, but yes.
Well, you know, we were talking off air before we started about kind of what a sheriff is, and I think maybe there are people that have a misconception about the sheriff, and they think maybe one thing and you're actually something else. So maybe we should start this whole convo with Daxton. Let me ask you this question. Well, give the sheriff time to think about this.
Okay.
What do you think a sheriff is?
You know, when I hear the word sheriff, I think of, old Western times. There's not enough room in this town for both of us. But really, what I believe a sheriff is someone who's like, trusted and respected enough to hold himself and, everybody else that he's over accountable to their jobs as police officers.
Well, I definitely wasn't expecting that first piece. I like that a lot. So what about that, Sheriff?
That's good. The
Sheriff's actually the top law enforcement officer in the county, and there are requirements to be a sheriff. At first, when I first ran for sheriff, it still states you have to be 21 years old, you have to have a high school or GED, you have to not been convicted of a felony crime, and you got to be eligible to get a peace officer's license, which is probably mental capabilities. But that all changed last session that we had, and Senate Bill 1124 said that they put some new requirements in it, and I believe that some of the legislatures had seen people elected that one of the legislatures had said, hey, you know, we elect a young person as sheriff, and the next day there's an active shooter, and they have no experience at all. So now they require that to run for sheriff, you have to have a peace officer license, you have to have 5 years of service, full-time service, or you can be a special federal investigator with 5 years experience, and then you'll have to take the TCO, Texas Commission on Law Enforcement test, or you can have 10 years of combined veteran military service, either military and then National Guard, and then take the test. So
really, the 21-year-old is not going to be 21-year. The most I figured would be a 25-year-old after they meet those requirements. But their responsibility, we take an oath to protect and serve the citizens in our county.
And basically, it's an administrative job. When we were talking, I don't get out.
Well, don't say that, because I don't want to dispel the there's not enough room in the town for the two of us. I don't want to just get rid of that.
It was, I did a research
Search on all the sheriffs in Liberty County, he was talking about that. There were actually, we had 2 sheriffs that were brothers, and both of them died in office. They were the Cherries, and they're born at the Ryan Cemetery, or buried at the Ryan Cemetery there in Tarkington. And the first one, the older brother, the first sheriff, he was a 2-gun sheriff, and that's the way they knew him. And actually, one of his guns came down, and was a man in Liberty. A lot of people know Cammy Gilliland, Gilliland Electric. Well, his brother Sonny Gilliland had one of the pistols, and I haven't traced it since then. But yeah, they had guns, and they not like a Texas Ranger. I guess you couldn't control a ride with one person, but as a trooper, we thought we could walk on water and jump over tall buildings. So.
Well, I noticed that after you said what you said about the session, we're probably not going to have any more of these walking tall situations where some put upon citizen decides they're just going to run for sheriff with no law enforcement background.
That's correct.
Anything, right?
Not going to happen.
Well, I found a picture of you, and we used that kind of in the promo YouTube thumbnail.
I saw
It's a
that.
beautiful picture of you. You're wearing this really cool cowboy hat, but you didn't come in with the cowboy hat.
You know, I started to do that,
But my chief that's here, he's got a uniform on, and I didn't want to outclass him. You know, we're a family, we got to kind of dress alike, so.
Yeah, he's standing off camera over there, and he was kind of giving me the business. If I got a little close to you, he frowned a little bit. I backed away. I like that.
He's a marksman too.
Oh, hey, come on now.
There you go.
I'm just living my life right here.
there you go.
All right, so Sheriff, one of the things that I really wanted to ask you about, and we live in such a different sort of climate than we used to live, especially when you were younger, and I'm nowhere near your age, obviously, but I mean, I grew up in a different time. The sheriff is kind of different from other law enforcement agencies because you've been mentioned in the Constitution.
Correct.
So, kind of differentiate that from other law enforcement agencies.
Well, it's the
Constitution set the position of sheriff up, so there's 254 sheriffs, 254 counties in Texas, 254 sheriffs. The other ones are appointed, there's a lot of people that are appointed as police chiefs, different areas. We have, I guess, 4 police chiefs now. We've got 5. We've got one in Plum Grove area, one in Cleveland, one in Dayton, one in Liberty, and one in Dayzetta. And they're elected or appointed by, I guess all these are appointed by the city council and the mayor. So actually, we work really good together. Since I've been sheriff, we have no conflicts and everything. We support each other. We train with each other. We just had active shooter class going on, and we had constables, Dayton, Liberty, us. You know, we were all in the class together to be able to handle active shooter situations.
So I've been blessed to kind of travel sort of all over the country, and in my travels I've seen many different iterations of what a sheriff sort of looks like, and I've been places where when the city limit sign stops, that's when the sheriff takes over, and then I've been places where it didn't matter where the city limit sign, the sheriff was the man. How do you work with the police chiefs and other agencies in Liberty County specifically?
Well,
We work really good with them, and we do work in the cities. We have an interdiction team that if they get a lead on somebody doing drugs or selling, buying, whatever, they're gonna work in the city. And we've got agreements with the city. We tell them what we're doing a lot of times. If we have time to tell them what we're doing, but also our patrol deputies make stops in the city. There are a lot of times at night when it's not a whole lot of people out that will assist Dayton, Liberty, Cleveland. If they have a traffic stop, we'll assist them, but then if we need assistance, they'll come outside the city limits and help us.
I've seen some of your deputies up here at the high school, and then I think maybe I read or I saw a video clip or something. I feel like Dr. Johnson over at Dayton ISD announced something about you guys are now giving all their schools a police presence. Is that with your office?
Yes, sir. And basically what
What it is that we went to a school safety meeting. They have school safety meetings they're required. We're required to have 2 of them a year. Sheriff's office, or a sheriff is in every county, with a population less than 350,000. But Cleveland has done it, Target has done it, I'm sure Liberty has done it. They welcome a law enforcement officer just to stop and do a walkthrough, you know, just to be seen, is for safety reasons. You know, they go through the parking lot, they come through the schools, yes.
You know, we live in a, and I'm gonna keep on going back to this, we live in a time that's, it's a little different. When I was a kid, when I saw a police officer, I mean, they were like heroes. You go up to them and it was like meeting Superman almost. And maybe Daxton, you can kind of speak to this as a current student. I feel like there are people that look at law enforcement with distrust, with some sort of even disdain. Daxton, as a student here at the school, can you kind of speak to that, like the general student body? How do you feel about that?
Well, I'd say the media does a good job at making police officers look like the bad guys in most cases. But when it comes to the ones around campus and all the ones I've talked to and had, I've never had a bad one. So I don't really know. I feel like being able to walk into school, with everything going around in other schools and stuff like that, and, seeing law enforcement, it brings safety and security. Whether or not they're like actively doing something or just saying hi. They're just it's good to have them.
So, Sheriff, after having heard that, what do you and your office do to kind of dispel myths or misconceptions about your office?
You know,
We've been active in all the communities. We was talking about school resource officers and stuff. We happen to have a school resource officer at Hardin. The constables have school resource officers. Just so their officers are present in the school districts, which I think is a big plus, not only for safety reasons, but also to build up trust and relationships. And they see that, hey, he's a human being or she's a human being, we can talk to them about something, and they're encouraged to talk about it. And so we get out in the community, we do crime watch meetings, we do neighborhood meetings and everything, but you get a relationship. I know I just got a picture from sent to me from up in County Ridge area that one of the deputies was out and stopped and was talking to a group of kids playing soccer and actually showed them kicking the ball. So I think if you relate, you say, hey, we're human, we're not here to throw you down. You was talking about media. It seems like on the media, they just publish the bad portion. They don't show what led to it. But I think we're very lucky in Liberty County that the majority of the people do show respect and do help. I believe that if one of my deputies got in an altercation, needed help, I believe a citizen would jump in and help them, even if it be a high school student. I believe they would help if it needed it.
So, one of the other sorts of situations that I've thought about, especially while you were talking, and I briefly touched on this before we came on air, is when someone sees you, Sheriff Bobby Rader, I guess erroneously thought that you're probably the last person they see before the bar is shut, and that's not the case.
no,
The sheriff really, in some counties and smaller counties, there are a lot more active like we were talking about. As far as my chief and captains, we're mostly administrative and handle problems and, you know, could fill in if there's a shortage or whatever, but actually patrol deputies, interdiction guys, I would not do interdiction. I'm just not the right age to go crawl under cars and wrestle people and everything.
But yes, the sheriff is mostly administrative. We do public talks. I have gotten a patrol car and gone and made a stop to relive my old DPS days, but it's not something you could count on one hand in the 12 years that I've done it.
So what I'm hearing is you aren't the jump across the hood of the patrol car and do a flip and coming up with the gun, and that's not you? Not anymore?
Not, if somebody would help me up over the hood of the car, I could do that. Yes, sir.
Well, kind of moving in that sort of direction, Liberty County has experienced just massive growth over the last several years. Big neighborhoods up in the Cleveland area, 99's come through on the other side of Dayton. There's a lot of neighborhoods that are being built there, and your office really hasn't expanded a bunch. When it does expand, hopefully, fingers crossed, and you're able to grab folks and put them on the payroll, how does Joe Q. Public become a deputy?
Well, first of all, you got to be old enough. You got to be 21 to be a deputy.
All right, that's a check for me. All right, keep
All right. Well, another check for you. If you'd like to start off as a correctional officer in the jail, you only have to be 18.
Wow, that's an X for me.
You remember that?
No, my brother worked at the jail, and he came home with horror stories. I'm out.
Yeah. All right. There you go. So, and then you have to go to an academy, and they range 18 weeks to 20-something weeks long that you'll have to go at, and then you take a test. Of course, to get in the academy, you have to take a psych test and have a background check.
Again,
There you go. That'll work. So,
What is there a place around that you pull from, or do they have to go into Houston, or where do they go?
well, no, Lone Star Academy has one. Angelina College has one. Alvin, I believe, has one. There's several people that have the Beaumont at Lamar University. They have one.
So do you get people that apply frequently, not frequently? I mean, how often are you telling them we're not hiring right now?
Oh, I would probably say that since I've been sheriff, we've actually never told them we're not hiring. We have openings that come up, but then you go to the applications you get, some of them don't meet our qualifications. We're pretty, I would say, in all the law enforcement officers, agencies, whatever, that we're probably the most restrictive on who we hire.
So you're like the Marine Corps of law enforcement, is that what I'm hearing?
If
go
you
ahead
like
and
the
say that. You go ahead and
Marines.
say that.
No, that's all right. I was comparing that. I gave an oath to a deputy, and he was an Army Ranger, and I was bragging on him being an Army, and my captain, who is over patrol, is a Marine. He said, "You know what Army stands for?" I said, "No." He said, "Aren't ready to be a Marine yet."
Right. He's a proper Marine, because the improper ones are going to say ain't ready. to be a
Ain't
Marine
ready,
yet.
okay.
That's okay. Well, Officer Knox walked in behind you, and I didn't see him. And I don't get rattled very easily. When I looked at him, I thought, man, I bet he could go outside right now and run like a 5-minute mile.
I don't know. He went to the FBI
Don't
Academy.
dispel that. Don't dispel
He
that.
did it one time.
Okay.
Yes.
So what kind of things do your deputies, do they have to do like an annual check? I'm gonna be honest with you, I've seen some agencies that I'm not gonna name, but some of their folk, I don't think could run from here to there without bursting into flame or falling apart. And so what do they have to do annually to be ready?
Well, actually, annually, the only thing that's required that we do annually is our firearms qualification.
Well, I guess that's a pretty good thing to do.
And we have actually pretty much quarterly, maybe even more than that, firearms training where we go shoot. So our guys are very proficient in firearms, and that's including the pistol, the rifle, and the shotgun. As far as the training, we have a workout room, a gym at the sheriff's office that's used. Our SRT guys, special response team guys, they work out regularly by running to qualify for the team. They've got a run mile and a certain time, do any push-ups and a lot of exercise and everything. And so that's our T team is made up of mostly younger guys.
Okay. Well, my brother kind of, he retired from the Utah County Sheriff's Office, and he kind of had the phrase that I've adopted a little bit. If I have to chase you, either we're going to guns or you just weren't guilty today.
So,
I don't know if that's
my philosophy is if you run, we'll get a warrant for your arrest, and when you're asleep at home one night, we'll come get you.
Okay, well, that might be worse. I love my sleep, so that maybe I'll be a law
There you go.
because of that. All right, Sheriff, as we're kind of progressing through here, and I want to kind of work back to that population explosion. Your deputies come on, and man, they're working from the time they clock in to the time they clock out. Yes, no.
Yes, they work 12-hour shifts. A lot of times, many of the times, when they check on duty, there's calls on the board that they'll start responding to. So we don't have enough personnel to be proactive, to go out and just talk to people and make stops, stopping people, somebody mowing their yard, go up and talk to them, have a conversation, because they're going call to call to call. And they work 12-hour shifts. When one gets off, the next come on, it's call to call to call. We average about 10 person per shift, but not all the vacancies are filled, and then you have people go on vacation or people that are sick. So there's times in the county of our population, which is not what the census said it is, but there's times in our population that we'll have maybe 5 people out for our whole county, almost 1,200 square miles. And so
if you're not a law-abiding citizen, we're going to put a censor on this. Don't listen to that part, right? Do not listen to that
I
part.
will respond to the calls pretty quick.
Okay. Now, I think I would probably be remiss if I didn't give a big shout-out to Peggy Bourgeois, who kind of made this thing happen, yeah?
You can give a call out to her, but I tried to scold her yesterday.
Oh, don't say that, then I'm going to get in trouble.
No, well, I did. We have her daughter working as a student over there, plus we have Cody Sandifer working, and awesome kids. They're just awesome, and they're goal-oriented, they're hard workers. And I told Peggy yesterday, I said, Peggy, I always try to do the right thing with my kids and teach them right from wrong and try to be good people. And I said, I hope they turned out that way. But yesterday, we have alert training going on. It's training for the active shooter. And she volunteered her daughter, her lovely daughter, to go be a bad guy in one of the scenarios. And I don't know if I think she did get shot, but I don't know. But I told Peggy, said, you're corrupting her. You shouldn't do that.
Sending her down the
Other than that, Peggy's an awesome employee. She really is. I just couldn't believe she treated her daughter like that.
Well, look, I need this conversation about her to end on a high note, or I'm going to get scolded. And
Oh, I just said she was a very good
I
employee.
know you said that, but I need to make sure. Peggy, I love you a bunch, and don't listen to whatever this guy said. So I know she can cook. Does she ever bring in tasty treats for you guys? See, that's why you were okay.
On a regular basis,
No,
or
you
just every
took
once
too
in a
long.
while?
You took
Okay,
too long.
okay.
That was the message that I needed. So
Thank you.
You're probably going to get in trouble now. when you
Probably
get that
so.
here. All right. We're kind of wrapping. Just a couple minutes left. Daxton, anything from a student-wise that you've ever longed to ask a sheriff? And no crazy stuff.
Are you crazy's fine. I'll probably give you a crazy answer.
What do you drive?
Would I drive?
Yeah, like your home vehicle, not a police car.
Don't tell him that.
2015 Dodge pickup truck.
Okay, nice.
Tag your car now.
No, I was just wondering.
So you know, just so
I was
you
just
know that.
wondering.
Sheriff Rader, do you guys get to pick your sidearm, or is that issued
No,
in the
no.
office?
Yeah, they get to pick it. That's one of the things that we haven't accomplished yet as a sheriff's office, is that everybody has to buy their own weapon. We don't furnish it. So if the chief and I were in a shootout with somebody, he would be in a bind or I would be in a bind if we ran out of bullets, because he's probably shooting a 9mm, I'm shooting a .357. And so if one of us is out of bullets, the other one's going to have to take up the slack. I would like every officer, every deputy that we have to have the same weapon, therefore the same ammunition, that if anything happens like that, we could address it. So.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like that would be a pretty sticky situation. Now, they do a real good job over don't recall having read about any shootouts that you guys have been in
Well,
lately.
That's why I said we've been very, well, it was almost a shootout. We had the interdiction team up in Colony Ridge, I want to say knock down, arrest a drug dealer, and he gave up and threw his gun out the window before we had to shoot him, or he had to shoot at us. So it's been close several times.
Well, if you're going to be in a shootout, it seems like throwing your gun out the window is kind of the wrong way to go.
It's the right way to live, though.
Yeah.
You're right about that. Well, I always ask everyone that's on the program, if I'm sitting home and I'm listening to you, Sheriff, what's a life lesson or something that I could take from you? You know, you kind of put your pawpaw hat on a little bit, and what's the message that you could send out to Joe Q public that would be some kind of life something?
You know, one of the things that I stress is that we're there a lot of times, you don't even see us there. And people sometimes will fuss about the response time that we get there. Well, if we have 5 deputies and 1,200 square miles, it's hard, but the people will say, well, I don't see you. But, you know, when I was growing up, we had to stay outside and play, whatever it would be, baseball, football, Army guys, whatever we did, until our mother had supper ready, and then we'd go in and eat, take a bath, and go to bed. But nowadays, when people go home, men and people work, and you'd see people sitting outside years ago, but now everybody gets home from work, they go in the house, they got the air conditioner on, they got the TV on, they eat supper, they whatever. They have no clue if a deputy drives by their house. So I know that the deputies are out there, but we get blasted a lot of times by saying we never see them. Well, you're not going to see them if you got your nose in the TV, or you got your video games going, or whatever, your PlayStations. So I just want people to know we're there, and we're going to do the best we can to protect them. And even when we're shorthanded, we'll do the best we can to protect them.
As long as Chief Knox stays here, I feel pretty darn good.
There you go.
About that. Not so much you. Nothing against you, Sheriff Rader, but I
You-
feel a lot better.
There you go.
I appreciate you stopping by. I know how valuable your time is, and I can't imagine what you had to rearrange to even get here. And on behalf of the school, I want to appreciate it and thank you for showing up today. Daxton, do you have any final words, thoughts, any reminders?
No, we appreciate you coming on, though.
Yeah.
That's about
Well,
it.
He's
I appreciate being here, and anytime you need somebody to come talk to the class or whatever, we're here. I told you I've been doing the younger kids.
Yeah.
I even created a song for them, but that was pretty good.
Well, go ahead and sing that song. Maybe that'll help me.
Okay, for all the adults, I apologize, but I sing to the kindergartners, first, second graders. When I talk to them, I go, I am the sheriff, see my star. I will help you near and far. If you have a problem, call on me, and I will send you a deputy.
I don't think I need any more words. Sheriff Bobby Rader, you've been watching LHS Live. I'm Joe Roberts. We'll see you next week.